Good morning. Welcome to Journal with Me, plus your angel messages. Today is day 22 of the 30-day challenge to go live every morning and share my morning routine with all of you, pulling angel cards, doing journaling prompts, pocket affirmations, checking in with the energy a little there. And I'm just having so much fun sharing this with you. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Devon. I'm an angel, intuitive, and spiritual teacher, and my biggest purpose is activating other light workers to trust the connection and the divine power they have within them. I do find that my mornings are a little more energetic getting to do this with all of you, so I really appreciate it. Hey, Heidi. Hello, Sparkle and Grit. Yes, happy Friday. Happy Friday. That's what I say too to the girls. The energy's been interesting lately. This Pluto in Aquarius now, which felt like a relief when it happened. But then I've also had some waves of just feeling tired come up out of nowhere. So interested to hear how all of you are feeling this morning. And as always, we'll get started with the first angel card to set the tone for the pocket affirmation. And then we'll go through our routine record like we always do. And I'm really enjoying this spread in the mornings where we do the recent past, present, near future, and then we ask for guidance on actions to take because it gives us an easy way to use that valuable gift of hindsight to deepen our connection with the angels and deepen our trust in what we are doing with the angels. So let's go ahead and flip over to the first blank page we have in the journal here. As always, let's have a little more room. Oh, I can keep this here. That's fine. So, today is November 22nd. Wow. And as always, I like to start with thank you, God, for today, TGT, and then morning angels and guides, so that I'm very intentional about the beings we are connecting with. And of course, I do say my prayer of protection that is linked below in case you would like that. And let's pull our first card to get started here. Okay, our first card for today is Two of Water. We had this card recently. It says, a relationship that continues to grow closer, forgiveness, the positive resolution of a conflict. Now, this does represent the recent past. Good morning, Connie. Good morning, Leanne. Good morning. We just pulled our first card because this is going to be where we pull our pocket affirmation from. And this represents the recent past. So that means within the last 24 to 48 hours, maybe another day or so, where have you been able to find a positive resolution with something? Have you allowed forgiveness? Have you been willing to just bring in that intimacy? Maybe somebody who was kind of an acquaintance has become more of a friend now. You were able to confide in somebody by working together. Maybe a relationship has gone to a new level. So who came to mind for you first there? Because this is affirmation that, you're doing the work. We had some cards yesterday that were a little bit fiery. In fact, we'll just review those here in a minute. But I want to get started with our journaling prompt that we've been using every morning is, angels, what do I need to know right now? And so that's why we have this card right here, Two of Water as the recent past. And what is coming up for me is that relationship continuing to grow closer. So I'm just going to write grow closer. That's what's really standing out to me more than the other words. But of course, listen to your intuition. Does anything else stand out for you more? And we're going to get some clarification on this as well. And we're going to use hindsight from yesterday's cards to bring some clarification in too. But this is the part where I like to go check in with my routine record so we don't forget. If you create some kind of habit tracker in your journal, you can join me with this, where I just go in and make sure that I got everything done I wanted to get done yesterday, which I did, thankfully. The things that we track in here are meant to support us physically, mentally, emotionally, because we have a mood tracker here, right? So you'll see on here I have a lot of supplements, but next month I think I'm going to add reading for fun a little more, because I tend to, when I sit down to read, I tend to do it to learn, which is great. But at this dreamy time of year, which, by the way, happy Sagittarius season. The sun went into Sagittarius yesterday. I felt it. Did you all feel the sun go into Sagittarius? I really did start to feel that like holiday feeling, and it was a relief. I felt it. However, it's still at the 0 degree, which anytime you're at the very first degree or the very last degree, which would be 29, which is what it was yesterday, 29 Scorpio, it's just an intense energy. But so you have to kind of just go with the flow. You really have to allow the energy to do what it's meant to do. You felt it too, Heidi? Yeah. And I was going to say later today, we will have the moon go into Virgo. So that's around 5 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. Yeah, 5 p.m. Central. So 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. And it's 6:22 here. We've got the 22 on November 22nd, 6:22. More angel numbers. But I wanted to let you know that in case you are tracking your moods, I always do an AM and a PM, right? Well, I do notice moon in Virgo personally. I also notice it because I have a lot of Virgos in my life. My youngest daughter's a Virgo. My older daughter's a Virgo moon. And then I have Saturn in North Node in Virgo. So the moon in Virgo gets my attention. Sometimes it's super helpful because I get a lot more things done. Other times it's very crunchy. And it kind of depends on what else is going on. But it is something to be noted. And when you do your normal routine, a lot of times you're set up for more success to handle that energy because you've gotten the sleep you need. You've taken the time to do something good for yourself, right? Your supplements, your exercise. But we've also been getting a lot of guidance, and we'll get to the hindsight in a minute, about playtime. So sometimes the Virgo moon may be crunchy because you haven't taken enough time to be playful with your approach. So we'll get to that in a minute. But I will say yesterday, my mood was very even throughout the day. It was an even, just kind of go with the flow feel. And so I'm going to call that a peaceful feeling, because it was just, I was doing things all day, getting stuff done, but it wasn't jarring. There wasn't anything sudden. It just kind of went as planned. And yet it was productive too. So I would consider that peaceful. Good morning, Leah. You have Pluto and Uranus in Virgo. Okay. Yeah. So you feel it probably too. So that'll be later today. So tomorrow I'll just put the little glyph here. So we'll be reminded that tomorrow we will wake up to the moon in Virgo, but it does actually happen at 5 Central today. So that is something to keep an eye out for, at least for most of us watching right now. It's a Friday afternoon. Hopefully that means you get to slow down. And we'll go check in with the cards from yesterday, but I already know we're going to be reminded about the playtime. So just in case you're new here, I always like to glance at my evergreen calendar here to see if there are any big aspects coming up. We did have the sun go into Sag. I don't write every aspect down. That would take a long time, but the big stuff I do. So one of the things to remember is that Monday, Mercury goes retrograde. So if you haven't already, grab that Mercury retrograde angel card spread, totally free. My gift to you in the description below this video, and get some clarity about how you can best use this Mercury retrograde energy for what you have going on for you. And it was really helpful for me when I did it on Tuesday, even though we have Mercury in shadow. Mercury hasn't gone retrograde, but I wanted a heads up. I was like, what are some things that I need to have a heads up about and start thinking about so you can start using this spread today? And, it's going retrograde at 22 degrees. And then today we are at November 22nd. So you might actually feel some stuff today, and you do have a couple of more days where Mercury is direct to think through some things. In fact, that's one of the things I'm going to do today is think about some travel plans for next year. I won't be booking anything, but I might be, probably looking for maybe a house to rent for spring break with my kids or things like that. Go ahead and take that time this weekend if you want to if you want to make any plans to do the research. Because it is still an RE, but you might not want to make the decision until it feels right, because a lot of times that's the guidance too, is to wait for the right time. So we'll check in with more guidance here. And first, let's go back to hindsight, because I just feel that that's the part that is so valuable with tracking your intuition, right? So we'll put this aside for a minute. Yesterday we had the Two of Earth as the first card, and that was the guidance that we needed to take a more playful approach to things. We needed to bring balance into our material resources, and we needed to get curious with something. So we were kind of cautioned that somebody might say something that came out in a tactless way, or it might mean that you have to change your plans. And the idea was to get curious. And then we were also told that there might be a pause in something. We might slow down. We might take a break from something, but there was no need to worry because it was only temporary. So that's all good information to have as we go into the guidance for today, in case anything did come up for you with that. Now they were talking about this page of air being in the near future. So that could be something that's happening today where we get information, or there's a delay to something, but we just have to go with the flow there. So when I saw this first card as the recent past, relationship continuing to grow closer, I was asking you to, consider the first person you thought of with this. This could be a child, parent, friend, romantic partner, boss, colleague, anybody that you just have noticed there's been just an opportunity to get closer. It does talk about positive resolution of conflict. So maybe you had to work through something with a boss or a colleague and find a way to get on the same page, see eye to eye. But this is giving me more of a personal relationship, but that could be just for me. So I was just saying that so see if it resonates with you. But when they talk about playtime, I do see where this could be giving us guidance that, maybe it is time to plan that date night with a spouse. Maybe it is time to go do something fun with your kids that's just purely recreational. I know for me, I love to have my mom over to play cards with my daughters and me. So I'm hoping we're going to get to do that over the Thanksgiving break. So things like that. By the way, how is everybody feeling today? Did you have any big dreams? So if you did, make sure you're writing those down. In fact, I'm just going to check to see if I wrote down my dreams yesterday. Did I do that? Sometimes I get too busy talking and I forget to write it down. No, I didn't. But you know what? I had that sensation yesterday when I woke up that I didn't remember my dreams. And then later during the day when I was just doing some dishes, I had a memory of the dream. Isn't that interesting how that'll happen? It's like when I tried to remember my dream, I didn't. But when I was just sitting there washing dishes, I'm sure it had something to do with the element of water, because water conducts energy so well that that it was like, oh, I did have a very vivid dream. It was that. And so now it's gone. I should have gone to write that down in my journal right away. And I didn't, because my hands are busy washing dishes. So I'll have to ask the angels to bring that memory back to me when I get a chance. Which, by the way, you can do that. You can ask your angels to help you remember where you put things, or help you find things, or remember that idea that you had in the middle of the night. And I always say, if it's in my highest interest. So Sparkle and Grit says, I felt like I was having wild dreams all night. The last one I remember was driving my car super, super fast, almost crashing into things, but getting around them at the last minute. Wow. Well, and you've been busy with all the work you're doing on the house, right? So you may be feeling that need to get things done for the holidays or to get settled. So it's like, just in the nick of time, you're getting things done. Does that resonate? Of course, only you can know, but I understand that feeling. It's almost like a sensation of you're semi in control, but not completely. So yeah, very valuable there. My husband was sharing with me a dream he had. He's been having dreams where he's doing mundane things. And he said, it happened again today. I had a dream that I got up and I made the bed, because I get up before him since I get up so early to do this. And I had a dream that I got up to make the bed. And then when I actually woke up this morning, I was like, oh, I don't have to do that. And then I was like, wait a minute, I'm in bed. And I got up, I was like, oh, I still have to make the bed. He's like, what is the point of having a dream about these mundane things that I do every day? And of course I'm like, well, you got to track it, right? But he says that's kind of a recurring theme he'll have. It's just, it doesn't even feel poignant. It just feels like, this is what I do every day. I brush my teeth. I, sit down at my desk, turn on my computer. So, it does resonate. Good. I'm glad. I had a really interesting experience yesterday. I've been wanting to ask all of you, have you been feeling any kind of dimensional shifts either? Because I walk the same path every day on my walk. And I had this experience yesterday that I don't think I've ever had so profoundly, where same exact path every single day. I got kind of lost in thought. You know how you're just like looking down at the road you're walking on. And I looked up and I was a little disoriented about where I was. Now I'm telling you, I literally walked this path for hundreds and hundreds of times. But I looked at this house and I thought for a minute, wait a minute, I turned down the wrong street. And then I stopped, and all of a sudden I had this grounding feeling come through me. And I was like, wait a minute, no, I'm right where I thought I was. And I felt this shift. And I was talking to a friend about it, because I said, this was so wild. I don't know if they had just cleared a bunch of brush around the house so it looked different to me, or it was the angle, but it really, to me, seemed as though I had just stepped into a different timeline or dimension. So that definitely is going to go on my intuition tracker, but I could actually feel it physically. Now it's 6:33. So those are the kind of things I wanted to ask you to be paying attention to as well, because I think we're going to feel a lot of these things now with Pluto and Aquarius for good, and some of these other aspects coming up, because we do have Neptune going direct soon in December, and it's going to move into Aries next year, right? So it's going to be an interesting energy. Heidi says, keep dreaming about people from the past that I haven't seen for years. This has been happening for months. I remember you saying that. And with all this retrograde energy, that's probably part of it. But I would definitely track how you feel when you see these people in your dream, and how you feel when you wake up, because it could be unrooting something there. Because I know that feeling is like, so why would I dream about the person I haven't seen since second grade, right? That kind of a thing. There's usually some kind of emotion tied to what was going on in your life at that time. Maybe you weren't able to process it as a kid, or just something you were learning about that you need to go back to learning again. Was there something you had a fascination with at that time? So those things could be all the reasons why we dream of people from the past. They just represent that part of your timeline. All right, enough chit chat, Devon. Let's move on to the present. What's happening right now, this energy. Oh, we've got it again, and you can't make this stuff up. Yesterday, this card we got as the near future. Now we're getting it as the present. Okay, so here we go. They're continuing with that energy. Logical, honest, impulsive, curious, challenging information, delays or change to plans, truth delivered without tact. Okay, so this is the energy for right now at the time you're getting these messages, and we're going to get guidance on how to handle it. But you really can't make this up. That was what they said yesterday. It's going to come very soon. Either later, it was going to either be last night or today that we would feel this energy here. So what we heard yesterday is what I'm still hearing today, which is get curious. So if somebody calls you up and says something that doesn't land well or says it in kind of a rude way, or maybe they're just overly excited, get curious. If there is a delay or change to your plans, trust that it's in your highest interest, because that was the other guidance we were getting yesterday, that there's no need to worry. It's just temporary. So this could be, a delay in a project, a delay in getting something done. If any of you are traveling next week, it just could mean a minor change to your plans. Somebody calls up and says, hey, we're not coming anymore. Or, hey, I know you guys were going to come, this day, but could you push it back a day, or could you come a day early, whatever. So you'll know what that is for you. This is always meant to help us stay in flow. So there's never anything to be concerned about with the more challenging cards. And it's not necessarily a challenging card. Just keep in mind that it is a card of communication. So it could be like where wires get crossed. You have plans and somebody didn't understand part of the details. And again, I was talking earlier about, we have these few more days of Mercury direct, but it is in shadow already. So there could be just things that we need to be really thoughtful about with our plans. But we're going to get some more guidance here, so we'll keep going. So this is going to be near future, later today or tomorrow. Okay. 6 of Water. Great card here. So another water card. Memories from your history or childhood. Issues regarding children. Romanticizing the past. Right? So this is where we want to use this energy, this emotional energy, to see how we can navigate any challenging information. What I'm getting for this is, this could be other people coming to us saying, why don't we do things the way we used to do? I liked it when we used to do this, and maybe you're saying, because that doesn't resonate with me anymore. That's not part of my energy. So example, like maybe you always hung out with a certain group of people over the holidays and you're choosing to do it differently this year. Maybe instead of going to the same place every year, you're going to go on your own special trip somewhere, or you're going to invite different people over. And you might have people going, well, I liked it the way we've always done it. Right. But if you think back on it, it was a lot of work, or not everybody got along. So just a reminder, next week we have I am going to still have my Wednesday live, and we're going to be talking about being around family or friends, any kind of loved ones that are not where you are on your spiritual journey. So you've had this spiritual awakening, you're doing the work, but there are people around you that don't understand it. Maybe they don't support it. But this is the kind of thing that can come up a lot in holidays, right? Where you're around people you're not around most of the year, and things come up, politics, old disagreements. And you might find that it just doesn't resonate with you anymore, and it's a little challenging to be around. So we're going to be talking about that. But I feel like this is a little bit of that heads up too, that are you doing things to please others because of nostalgia when maybe your soul just doesn't resonate with it anymore? This is also a card that I'll see with clients where their kids are young adults now. They've moved out of the house, but they still come home and want mom to do everything the way she did it growing up. They want it to be the same. And mom's like, hey, you guys can help out, or let's not put all this on me, or I don't want to do that anymore. Let's change the tradition. And people are going, no, we want it this way. We want that same old way of doing the sweet potatoes. Maybe that resonates with somebody. But it is that idea of just know that if there's a lot of emotions coming up later today in the next couple of days, there's a chance that it's nostalgia, right? And the holidays do bring that up. So it's not anything to be concerned about. Just be aware, especially since we do have the moon going into Virgo, where you tend to feel every detail, right? You tend to feel every emotion. Every detail has an emotion. My husband and I were talking about trying something new for dinner today, and for Thanksgiving dinner. And we just haven't been able to decide on anything. And I have a feeling this moon in Virgo is going to help us with that. So Heidi says, truth about adult kids. Yeah. My kids are teenagers right now, but I've seen it with so many clients. I'm like, yep, I have a heads up for that. I learned from all of you. So the next journaling prompt we're going to do, let me write that in there, 6 of water, and I'm going to write nostalgia because that's what stood out for me. Even things like getting down old Christmas decorations and deciding, I want something fresh. I want to do something different. And, but you're like, these were the decorations when my kids were little, those kinds of things can be all right. But, it's okay to change things up if they don't resonate with you anymore. Sparkle and Grit says, I think that's me in nostalgia this year. My sons are all adults, and this is the year that everything is changing, and it kind of makes me sad. Yeah, I feel that for you. But that's okay, because that's the idea, is to embrace it. Allow yourself to feel that. Definitely, honor that. So, no, you didn't miss the affirmation, Heidi. I forgot to do one. Thank you for saying that. You did not miss it. I knew I was feeling like I had skipped something. Thank you. Let's see. Let's do an affirmation here. Since we have, I got these out of order. This is the past there. And see, yesterday we used the affirmation, I easily find the playful approach. Today, I think we need to remember curiosity a lot, because again, with this watery energy, when emotions are bubbling up, get curious about why they're bubbling up. So like you said, Sparkle and Grit, that's a great way to be curious. I think it's because, my children are grown. It's kind of sad that it's over. And get curious about why is it sad. And then once you acknowledge that it's sad, then affirm it. Because, it's okay to be sad and let that emotion run through you, and then do things to bring in that playful, joyful approach, I think can be really valuable. So I think we should use the affirmation, I remember to get curious. I remember to get curious. Or let's say be curious. Let's just change that real quickly. If you want to write that in the comments below, I remember to be curious. Thank you, Heidi. I remember to be curious. That way, as we go through the day, if an emotion bubbles to the surface that kind of surprises you, which again, like I said, with moon going into Virgo later, 6:44 my time. I love that I'm glancing at it every time. If emotions come up like sadness, nostalgia, frustration, agitation because of other people calling you up and saying things, sit with that for a minute. Take a deep breath. Thank you, Connie. Yes, I remember to be curious. And get curious about why you're having those emotions. Be gentle with yourself. Be compassionate. It's okay to feel that emotion as long as we actively do things to nurture ourselves through it, right? So we want to do things, feel it, allow it, but then what's something you can do to help move out of it? Can you go for a walk? Can you plan a game time with your family or plan a trip? I love having a trip planned, even if it's like 6 months away, because it's always that thing on the horizon that you get to look forward to. So that's why I was getting that energy of maybe these last couple of days of Mercury direct. Just start musing. What plans do you have for 2025 that are for fun? Not plans to complete a project or get that renovation done or get the budget balanced, which of course we want to do because that was guidance yesterday. But what fun things could you just daydream about for next year? And don't get caught up in the hows, but just think about that. And that can be really nurturing to get you through any challenging emotion. And then of course, the affirmation, I remember to be curious. Go online and look up YouTube videos about things that you want to do. If you want to travel to a new location that you haven't been before, go find some travel videos. I love doing that. Just the amateur people who go there and I did that one time before I went to Santa Fe, New Mexico. It was so fun to just find videos of people walking around. By the time I got there, I felt like I knew where I was going. So get curious about projects you want to do. Maybe you want to take a class next year, start looking that up. I remember one year I was like, I've always wanted to take a paint class. And my angels kept saying, yeah, you need to take a painting class. I was like, but I don't have time for that. And they kept saying, get curious, get curious. And sure enough, I found a class about 10 minutes down the road that was during my lunch hour. And I was able to do it because my kids were in school. It was so liberating. But if I hadn't gotten curious and started doing the research, I wouldn't have been able to have that experience so readily. But of course, the angels were nudging me to do it, right? All right, so let's get some clarification here. The next question is, angels, what actions do I take? So these next two cards could either be bringing clarity to these, or they could be actually telling you, here's what you do. Here's your solution, right? Now, again, the angels will never tell us what to do, but they'll give us lots of hints, and then we can use our free will. Good morning, Paul. Great to see you here. 10 inches of snow? Oh, wow. So perfect for the holiday season. Oh, that's wonderful. You're in Pennsylvania, right? Where in Pennsylvania are you? That's amazing. Definitely feeling like winter where you are. It was pretty chilly here, but sunny. Okay, so our fourth card is going to be one of our clarification and action cards. We have the 6 of air, so look at that. 2 6s, another air card. Things are looking up, the end of a difficult situation, taking a trip. What were we saying about traveling? So this is a really great affirmation card. And it says that that taking a trip, of course, is, for me, what I was just saying, getting curious about places we can travel next year. Maybe you already have a trip coming up and you just need to get curious about different things to bring with you on the trip or different routes to get there in case there's anything that just is you need to go off the beaten path for. But this is really positive. The end of a difficult situation, the action to take is whatever emotions come up, whatever delays we might hear about today or changes to plans, we have to trust that it's actually making things better. It really is. And again, communication is key here. So if you have someone saying things to you in a kind of challenging way, or you need to have that conversation that might be a little challenging, the communication card is actually what brings the resolution to it. So this is a really positive card for actions to take today. Anything that is a delay or challenging, we're going to want to communicate clearly. So I'm going to write that here as card number 4, or one of the actions to take is clear communication. And of course, remembering things are looking up. So take a break from anything that's stressful. Taking a trip can also be a staycation where you get out of your normal routine. Go visit a different part of town you haven't seen before. Go see, a lot of places have their holiday lights up already. Go see some holiday lights. Take a day trip somewhere. So this is a positive card to get you out of this energy here, right? And then another action card to bring more clarity. Oh, Poconos. Okay, very interesting. You're going skiing next week. Oh, that's going to be wonderful. Fun. All right, so we've got the final card. Again, we had this recently, balance. Let me check and see. Was it yesterday or the day before? Yep. Well, we were talking about balance yesterday with the 6 of Earth, but we've been getting balance a lot. The need for balance and moderation, cooperation and compromise. Wait for perfect timing. There we go. I knew that was coming. Waiting for the right time. So again, if you're planning a trip with somebody, get the information, but maybe wait before taking action. Cooperation and compromise, of course, comes up with any kind of emotions. This energy that we're having for right now about communication, we might have to bring in that cooperation and compromise, bring a balance there, get grounded before we have the conversation. And I really do feel that the key to keep in mind is that card yesterday about be authentic. So let's say you are trying to find a way to bring balance to something where people are calling you up and saying, I don't want to do that. I don't like that we're changing this. I don't like these changes. Let's do it the way we did it. We've always done it, right? Bring balance in and find ways to compromise, but we don't want to settle. That's the guidance we had yesterday about be yourself, be authentic. And so, if you find yourself in a situation where everybody wants to do something that you're not really wanting to do, you could suggest that you meet them later for a meal when they're done. So you're still spending time together and you're not in that energy. You could suggest that you go for a little while and then you take your own car so you can leave. And this could be anything, but again, remember to be authentic with the energy, compromise, but not settling, because when we feel like we're giving in on something we want, it can be very challenging energy to maintain. Allow yourself to feel that emotion, honor it, and then do something playful to help you move through that energy. I will be here tomorrow as always. If you haven't already, please hit that like button and share this video. It really helps my videos grow. And know that these messages are always meant to guide us. And this is a great energy here to slow down and take a break. It's Friday at the time I'm recording this video. Can you slow down this weekend? Is there anything you can take off your to-do list so that you can really bring in that balance? Thank you for being here. And remember, take time every day to connect with the angels.